Before we get started, quick rundown of the program. This is a very short program. It's less than an hour. And this year, I'm going to call up Tony Salcido before we get started because First Blood is the nomenclature that we use for this ceremony. And even though First Blood honors all the guys that have been killed on an accident on the waterfront, it actually started with two other individuals who weren't working on the waterfront. So I'm going to ask Tony to come up here and explain that to you. Tony?
Yeah, Alda Parasho, one of our past presidents, named this site First Blood some time back. And the reason he called it First Blood, because the very first blood shed in the 1934 strike was in the port of San Pedro, LA. And I'm struggling to remember, you'll have to excuse me. And it was Dickie Parker. And the strike started May 9th, and 1 week later in the early morning of May 15th, which is why we celebrate in memory of Dickie Parker and John Newsom this particular day, because they both got shot on May 19th. And Dickie died the same day, and John died some days later, about 10 days as I recall. And that's the name First Blood. The reason why the death of the Bordois and the other fellow whose name I can't remember up in San Francisco became so important, and we honor them by having Bloody Thursday in their memory, is because their deaths led to a general strike. And so that thus they have become more important than the gentleman who shed the first blood, which was Dickie Parker and John Newsom. When they raided the compound over at 145 in Wilmington, and that was the area that the employers housed a lot of scabs and fed them right there. And so that's why we call it First Blood. Dickie Parker, in memory of him and John Newsom.